That's our job.
What they that for us? I think we've made enough of a name for ourselves. We don't need to introduce ourselves. I think they introduce.
I'm Lane. Haunted by Waters.
Is that Scar still there?
Yeah. See.
And I'm Kellen with Haunted by Waters. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, this is going to be our first podcast. Don't know really what to say. We talked about it all day, but we don't really have anything to say right now because the cameras are on.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Me too.
Because the people that are used to being in front of the camera are actually our wives.
Yeah.
On the opposite side of the table.
They're much funnier than us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there we go. What a perfect way to introduce us. Thank you so much. Oh, we have a mic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Haunted by Waters. Is our camera on too?
Mm-hmm. I know this is a family show.
Is it Haunted by Waters, baby?
This is a family show.
Okay.
It's about fishing for everyone, right?
Everyone
fishing real
can
life.
fish.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we have babies getting fed late at night while we're trying to make our first podcast.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's get started with our first question.
What do you guys think about what we've been doing for the last 3 months?
We are so supportive.
No, I do think it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome. And I'm just glad that we're a part of it.
Thank you.
Like,
I feel flattered.
I'm
I love how you keep looking at me and looking at the camera. Yeah.
gonna try again. I'm so excited. So excited. I'm so proud. And thank you. Thank you for letting us host.
yes. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're proud of?
Are we being interviewed or are...
I mean, I kind of like
And
it.
we're just breaking the ice before we really get into the hardy stuff.
I mean, we're proud of you guys putting yourselves out there. This is something that you both love. You're passionate about it. You're sharing everything you've learned with others so that they can get started on a better foot. So it's great. And you're sharing the funny stuff. You're sharing what happens when you get hooked in your face. You're sharing about things that are practical, like how to change your oil. These are all things that are diapers. Changing. I was like, what am I changing? I'm hearing a buzzing sound. There's some ice cubes are being made in the background for the fridge.
Just out? What that is?
Yeah. No, it's just a very small cow that lives in our fridge.
Okay.
All of it, right?
All of it can be edited. Everything can be edited.
What is happening back there?
The aliens have arrived.
I mean, you guys were talking about Haunted by Waters.
Yes.
Okay?
All right. I like this.
Yes.
No, actually, I'm really excited for you guys. Mostly because I, again, get to get brought along. And we watch YouTube all the time, and we see these people out there, and they're doing things that either we're laughing at or we're thinking, like, God, we'd be friends with those people. So why not just do it ourselves?
Yeah.
And to Jen's point, share everything. So let's get started. First question for you guys. And why Haunted by Waters? Where did this name come from? Tell me a little bit about the origin.
Yeah, Colin. Where did name come from?
It started as a, hey, what should we call ourselves? And then it was like, hey, we're going to go with this name. And Lane was like, okay.
Yeah, it was literally, I had movies that I wanted to put, and I was like, we need to come up with a name right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, Haunted by Waters, and I was like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
YouTube channel, we'll go from there.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds a little scary, but no, it's From a River Runs Through It, which is one of the best fly fishing films of all time. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. Young Brad Pitt, directed by Robert Redford.
Yeah.
The entire movie is shot, I believe, in the state of Montana. But excellent film. That film is actually credited with kind of like a revival of the fly fishing sport, depending on who you talk to. But that really garnered a lot of interest in like the early and mid 90s when that came out, that helped revive the sport of fly fishing across America. So I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, there's a really great scene in the end of the movie, and it talks about the fishing experience and nature and what it means. And, you know, yeah, it's, I don't know. something special to me. But I always watch that movie actually every year when I go with my dad. Fly fishing. We always take a trip every year. We go to Montana, and I always force him to watch that movie. So that's always been kind of a tradition for us, but gets us in the spirit, gets us excited. And
yeah,
so,
it's been really interesting. I've run into some people that have come across our channel, and they've actually told me, like, I could tell who's hardcore fly fishermen because the second they hear our name, they know exactly what movie it's from.
okay.
And then they'll bring it up, and I'll be like, oh, they get it. Like, these people are hardcore fishermen. Like, I like it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool. I think that's a really unique name, Haunted by Waters. So does Calvin. Yeah, I'm glad. We're currently in the process of picking out a logo as well, which I think will really kind of bring this thing full circle.
Yeah.
And really truly speak to
And maybe some merch.
a little swag perhaps.
Yeah, Lane's got this whole vision for this media empire and apparel shop, and
Well,
so coming to you soon, Amazon.com, Cricket.
Courtesy of my wife, she's gonna be manufacturing all this, so we're gonna. Don't tell her. Oh, she's right there.
And just so we were clear on like what the roles are in this, and as you know, I've already started referring to you as my business partner to a little bit half. How we want to define a business, I wouldn't say that we're profitable just yet.
No.
But
Actually, I think we're the opposite of profitable.
I think
this costs a lot of money.
yeah, we should call ourselves the Sunken Cost Podcast. Maybe the Recession Podcast.
Oh yeah, so that'd be good.
But just so everybody's clear on the roles, I have the longer experience in the sport, and that's like it. And then you have Lane, who has all of the technology, all of the equipment, all of the digital creative passion, all of the content editing and creation. So I just go out and fish and send him videos and like try to figure out how to upload a video, and then he just takes it and does everything else. And that's what everybody gets to see out in the world. So it's been really cool watching you get back to one of the things that you're really passionate about with content creation.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like I need to reciprocate.
And then we have Elise.
Yeah, and then we have Elise. No, that's really yeah, that was really nice. No, it's been really cool doing this journey with you. Like, I think it's rare to find somebody that's just as passionate about a hobby as we are. Like, there's not many people that will go out and like spend the time doing it. But not only that, like, we can go spend the time, and at the end of the day, I don't feel like we're gonna kill each other.
Yeah.
Like, we're still like getting along, still talking, still joking. Like, it's a good time. Sometimes you go out with people and you're like, at the end, you're like, I'm never fishing with them again. Right. And so I think that's been a real blessing. And like, it's been a lot of fun. Like, if this thing takes off and people enjoy watching it, that's awesome. But also, like, it's just a good way for us to chronicle like our adventures together. Like, fun stuff happens. Spoiler alert, I did lose a GoPro today, so that'll be coming up.
We got it back.
Yeah, we did get it back. But, like that kind of stuff, like with anybody else, it might be like stressful. You might be yelling, but like with you, it's just like we're laughing and we're having fun and we're capturing the moments, you know? So that's all. It's cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah, don't get stuck with somebody in a boat you don't like.
Yeah, that's true.
It's called bitches in the boat.
Nobody wants.
Nobody wants that.
We might edit that out. I don't know. We'll see.
So is that what you would say makes you guys different from another podcast or another channel? Like, there's so many different fly fishing options to subscribe to, and we've seen them all. We've gotten inspiration from some of them, what we like about them, what we don't, to kind of understand other people's successes and things that we want to make our own. But what do you think makes you guys different?
Oh, geez. I mean, I think we're different because we're approaching it as two people that are trying to learn this YouTube craft, as well as trying to just take this passion of this hobby and sport that we love and like share it with everyone. It may not seem like we have like the clearest picture of where we're going as far as the channel is, but it's really that we're just trying to show what our everyday life is and the adventures we get to have fly fishing now. And, you know, as this thing grows and takes off, we'll be able to expand our horizons and fish different places internationally, maybe invite some of you to come fishing with us.
Yeah.
So I think we're really just trying to give like a pure vision into like the good time we're having and share some tips and tricks along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think, you know, one of the things that excites me that I've always said is that I'm happy to have something that I can look back on later in my life. And, you know, I may lose videos on my phone over time or pictures or what have you, but I know that the internet is forever, and being able to have stuff on YouTube now is pretty cool that I can look at 30 years from now, or my kids or grandkids can see all the, you know, crazy trips and experiences and memories and stuff. So that's been really important to me. And yeah, and I also believe in like education and that everybody has to start somewhere in the sport, right? We all had to start somewhere, and you know, people should be encouraged to ask questions and do research and look at things online, and hopefully we can be a resource for people to do that, because the reality is I think there needs to be a lot more people in the sport, and I think there needs to be a lot more women in the sport specifically. And I think the more that you give information and resources and tips to people, I think it's going to help grow the popularity of the sport. So hopefully everybody can find a way to enjoy it just like we have.
Yeah. And I also think, you know, we have a unique perspective with your knowledge and like expertise in the sport, and then me just being passionate about it, but maybe not having the correct skill set. I'm coming to it with a new perspective, and maybe we can kind of capture some of that knowledge that I'm gaining from you and be able to then share it with our audience, which I think is really important too. Is something that maybe another channel with a bunch of experts or ex-guides or something, they may overlook a simple detail, but, you know, here I am coming to you and saying, hey, what about this specific topic? And you're like, oh yeah, you know, this is something that I learned way back when, and then we can be able to share it. And, you know, so that's a cool idea too.
Yeah.
So I think fly fishing is one of those things that have just it's been around for a long time, right? And it's been kind of an evolving sport as technology and other things have actually come out. It's really enhanced it, and it has become really like a technical art almost. But what would you tell someone who's like kind of interested in it, doesn't really know a whole lot about it, not really sure where to get started? What's one piece of advice do you think that you'd give that person who's just kind of like, I don't know a lot about this, but it seems pretty cool?
Well, do you enjoy your paycheck? Because it's all going to get you.
Get ready for the most expensive hobby of your life. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I think it's simple. Get out and fish.
Yeah.
You know, go call somebody you know that does, and have them take you. Or call.
Yeah, no gear needed, by the way. If you have somebody that enjoys fishing, they will take you out and they'll bring all the gear you need, so you don't have to like go out and buy a rod. Like, most people will take you out. Like, if I have friends that are like, I've never been fishing before, dude, I'm loading up all my stuff to take them out. They don't have to bring a thing.
Yeah. So. Or you know, call a guide.
Yeah,
call a guide. Like, you know, have somebody take you out there that knows what they're doing, wants you to have a good time, wants you to ask questions and for you to learn. And you'll have the time of your life, right? I really do believe, and we've talked about this before, Elise, like when you first got into the sport, I was like really concerned that you'd lose interest, because I was like, okay, we're going to be out in the elements. It's going to be cold some days, or it's going to be really hot. And I don't know if you're going to find the same passion that I do. And so I was worried about the outdoors element, but I was also concerned about not catching fish and you getting really bored or disinterested really fast. Thank God you're super resilient and very patient and like the best. But for other people, I think if you're not catching fish, you might not be having fun. And that can lose your interest really quickly. So that's why I say get a guide, go out with an experienced friend, somebody that wants you to have a good time, that wants you to get into the sport. and you'll have a lot of fun really quickly, and you'll also gain a lot of experience and knowledge. So that'd be my advice.
No, that's great advice.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things. It's like, even though you might be out there, maybe you're not catching fish, you've all had those days, right, when we're stumped and it's not the most fun. You've spent all this time preparing and getting all your gear ready, and then you have, those days that just don't work out. But you're always learning something, right? And you're always walking away from, gosh, if I would have tried that a little bit differently, I'm gonna go ahead and make a couple adjustments next time. You're always learning something, and I think that's, to me, one of the most fun parts about the sport is that you are constantly adapting to the elements, to the environment, trying to figure out what's working, what are these things eating. You know, you see the meme from the Notebook. What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
What do you want?
Yeah.
It's not that easy. What do you want?
And you even if you have a bad day out there, it's really not that bad of a day because you're outside.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's sunny. Cloud cover maybe is better, but you're still having a good day. So nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we should probably maybe back up. I don't mean to hijack, but should we talk about our backgrounds and how long we've been fishing, how long we've been fly fishing, just so the audience has an idea of, whether we're legitimate or not. And
I mean, you can share that. I'd prefer to keep that confidential.
how old were you when you got into fishing?
Fishing, I would say probably early 20s.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
I thought you were young.
No, you threw a rod in the water, or went out with my uncle that lived in Alaska, that kind of stuff. I did that as early as I can remember. But when I took it on, if this is a hobby or a sport, I took it on as traditional fishing, right? So rod and reel, trolling off a little boat off the dock, that kind of stuff. And then it wasn't until later in life, I don't want to say how old I am, but later in life that I then got into fly fishing. Actually, you were one of the people that kind of influenced me that I should potentially look into this as a potential sport. And then just got hooked, man. Pun intended.
Wow.
Unintended.
Reeled them in right there.
Oh, that was a good one too.
That.
Oh my gosh. All right, your turn.
Many more of those.
Let's see. The earliest memory I have fishing, I think my dad put a rod in my hand and I was 7 or 8. I remember he was leaving to go to Shasta Lake with my brother, who's 3 years older, and they were pulling out of the driveway, and I was screaming in tears, crying, saying, "Take me with you." And he stopped the car in the middle of the road and decided to take pity on me and let me come. He thought I was too young at the time. But we went down, we drove down to California. We caught a lot of bass. We had a ton of fun. And that was the real first memory. I remember going back to school and writing a paper about it. I had an essay I had to write. And so I picked my fishing trip with my dad and my brother. So that is the very first memory I have of fishing. But fly fishing specifically, first trip I took, I was 15 or 16. My dad and I we drove up outside of our hometown, way up in the mountains, and we hiked into one of the high mountain lakes with pontoon boats on our back, and we hiked all the way down and in and kicked around in our pontoon boats all day. We caught a ton of small fish.
Nice.
The scenery was gorgeous, and from then on it was I don't want to go back to doing any other type of fishing. I just want to do this.
Yeah.
And, and having that memory with my dad. And so, yeah, 20 years. So.
It's crazy.
I was young.
We're still in frame, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was young. I think my first fishing memories on the dock of Lake Chelan in Washington.
Yeah.
And, using
Which dock?
our dock, the cabin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I remember my grandma, 96 years old, by the way, and still kicking. And she would make like dough bait out of like flour, I'm pretty sure, flour and water, I think was what it was. She'd make like dough bait, and we would just go put that thing on the hook, drop it over the side of the dock, and catch suckers.
Yeah.
And those things were big, and you would just watch them like sharks, just swim around the bait, and then finally you got, or maybe snagged one. Either way, that thing was coming up, and that was truly like you just were hooked.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person who enjoys not knowing what the heck they're gonna pull out of the water. So I know that we all love the clear water, river fishing for trout, not knowing if we can get a beautiful rainbow or a brown or cutthroat. But I am loving the idea of us going to some international places, finding new types of fish, not knowing where you're gonna pull out of the water. That really excites me. And even especially I think the warm water fishing, where you get all the beautiful colors. You know, I love fly fishing and I love where we live, but I'm excited to try some new spots too.
Yeah.
How about you guys? What are you?
Oh,
Is Idaho? This is all like Idaho, Montana, Washington. We live in the most beautiful place, I think, in the world. Like, if you could go, if you have a week and someone's like, "All right, we're gonna go fish," like, where do you think you go?
I mean, this is hard. I would say it's a tie between New Zealand and Patagonia, and that's kind of what everybody says, right? I've spent some time in actually both places. I think New Zealand, just because of the overall experience I could have there. I mean, it takes a long time to get there, but it's just gorgeous. People are friendly. Like,
Yeah.
it's got some notorious fishing. Like, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I have to say the same. You know,
It's kind of funny though. We went back to trout fisheries, right? She's like,
Oh, yeah.
talking about other fish.
Yeah.
We,
just waiting for us
Yeah.
yeah, and we totally
Friggin-
just
Live on the Boise River.
and all the exotic fish. And don't get me wrong, I think,
GTs,
Yeah.
tarpon.
I mean, we've had the chance to go to a couple, you know, more tropical areas. You know, we bone fished in the Bahamas. We have fished in Cabo. We fly fished in Cabo, San Lucas. And that's awesome. Just different style of fishing for sure, but unique. I think that's really cool. I think it's easy to get like tunnel vision sometimes into, at least for me, like just, okay, it's just going to be trout fishing, you know, whatever. And then you're like, there are so many species of fish that you can go and fly fish for. And that's what makes it such a fun, universal sport. I would say the same, New Zealand or, you know, Patagonia, Argentina. I would still love to go and do a Canada trip. You know, there are some incredible areas up in Alberta, specifically British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go up. There's some amazing brook trout fishing in Canada, especially if anybody follows the New Fly Fisher with Mark Melnick. That they run a great outfit up there from everything I've seen online. I think that would be a lot of fun. And then like Alaska. I mean, you know, and fishing for salmon, steelhead, like, yeah, I think, you know, I think Alaska would be a lot of fun. I think, you know, it's just places that are really remote that aren't super trafficked, but I also think that's going to be technical fishing.
Oh, yeah.
But that's, yeah, that would be the top of my list. But there's still some proven fisheries to fish in America first.
Oh, for sure.
That we got to check off.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Alaska would be absolutely incredible. And then Patagonia, I'm going to just say where it is that I've always wanted to get is Patagonia, 100%. And then New Zealand, I'm going to have to like get some layers, add some something because it's going to be cold. So I need to I think I need to mentally prepare for some of these elements, because as much as I want to catch these monster fish, and you know me, like I'm more about like, give me the monster fish versus the quantity. Like I'd prefer to just sit all day and keep casting until I get that one. And then I'm like this was it. But so I'm excited for the monster fish, but I mean, sometimes it looks like those are hard conditions out there.
Yeah.
Whether you're fighting other animals, probably at that point when you're that remote. So I think that could be really neat, but I think you have to get like mentally prepped sometimes more than physically for that stuff.
Yeah.
So something I've always been interested in learning a little bit more about, because usually when I'm fishing with you with you guys, and so you kind of help me kind of figure out, all right, let's try this spot, let's try that spot, this looks good. When you're looking at water, what are you guys looking for specifically to determine, gosh, this looks like a place where fish are going to want to hang out, this looks like the right depth, this is what we should try? Like, what are you looking for? And I think that can kind of help some of our audience understand a little bit better the best chances in terms of water to where to fish.
I mean, all right, I'm gonna take over this question a little bit, because I think it comes down to like our bigger question that we ask ourselves, or like we ask each other every time I'm here. It's, where are we gonna fish tomorrow, right? And then you start to break it down like we normally do, right? Are we gonna do lake fishing? Are we gonna do river fishing? Are we gonna do pond fishing? Are we gonna if we are gonna do river, are we gonna be wading? Are we gonna be taking a drift boat? Are we gonna take a raft?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how I start off, and then I feel like we somehow then start to narrow it down to the actual physical location once we're there.
Yeah.
I mean, would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And your setup and your approach is different for every type of fishery. Absolutely. I think if you're looking at water specifically, I think we talked about it in one of the shorts of like, when you first get up to the water, the most important thing you can do is nothing. Like, take a look around you, watch what's happening, observe, because the environment can tell you a lot, but you sometimes get in a race. I mean, I'm creature of habit. Like, I'm rigging up exactly what I think. I'm looking at the hatch charts. I'm reading. I'm rigging everything up. It's going to be this bug at this depth, and the flows are this speed. I have the whole thing figured out, and then we launch in a hurry, and we're not catching fish. And then we pull over, anchor up, start thinking about things, start talking about things. Oh, there's a different bug coming off than we thought or planned for. And you just start to, I guess, read the environment. And, the environment can tell you a lot about what's happening if you just take a second to look at it. So I'd say when you're reading water, it kind of goes back to some of the basics of, are there fish rising? If they are, what's on the water or what's under the water? Turn over a rock, turn over a log, try to find something that tells you what they might be feeding on. But also try to go educated too before you go to your location, right? Try to get as much information as you can. Call a fly shop, look online at what the hatch chart is, something that's going to give you some type of knowledge going into the day. And then you'll make adjustments. That's the best thing about fly fishing is you make adjustments all the time. You're constantly learning. And I would say, don't become a creature of habit that is stuck doing the same thing over and over and over again with the same result. It's the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes you doing something completely crazy and unique that may just hit a fish without thinking about it, because it's just something they haven't seen and it's different than everything else that's coming down the water. And those are the really fun and memorable times.
Yeah, and I'd also say, also convenience, right? Like, I'd rather be on the water if it's only with a family and everything. If it's only for a couple hours, then being able to go somewhere close and then like know what I'm fishing there as well, I guess, would be another point too. You don't always get to spend that 9 to 12 hours that we spend out on the water, right? It might be that you're just going to your local fishing hole and picking up some small trout or even something smaller like some smallmouth or largemouth bass. But that's because you have 2 hours and you can get out and practice casting, practice different techniques. So
Yeah. What you want to get out of it, right? Even if you don't catch fish, if you're out there having fun, making a memory, or you're in some beautiful scenery, that's a full day.
Yeah.
That's a full enjoyable day. So make that your aim.